Okay.
I agree.
I'll tell you what I
There's
am.
different kinds of intelligence.
I'll tell you what I am. It's verbally annoying, but I'm stupid.
Josh played sports. Speaking of, there's sports.
Handle what?
Alrighty.
Messi.
What?
Yep.
Messi, that he's gonna be playing at Arrowhead.
The biggest story next year in Kansas City sports. Be ready for your top five. It's already done.
There's Jared, there's sports right there.
Yeah, that's right. KCTV5, this is Greg. I'm well, how are you?
You have a good number. I'm just gonna go for it.
Okay.
I'm needing you now.
Ooh, let me see here.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is First Warn 5 meteorologist Greg Bennett here. We're tracking winter storm activity already here around the Missouri River Valley, obviously the metro. If you've been out and about, you've been inundated with rain, a little bit of snowfall as well. Let me just show you what we've got some on our cameras here. Just want to show you how wet and gross it is right now. You can actually see some of these cars and the mist coming off of the back tires there, all from this kind of cold to wet weather threat. But check this out. The Doppler is very active. It is not just with just rainfall. It is a rain-snow mix that we are monitoring right now. It's right through the metro, clear on through Leavenworth County, and it continues to track up further north, right there into the Iowa border. I'm going to keep on keeping on with this and start moving forward to show you just how large this system is, because the actual center of rotation is still well out to the south and west of us. Let me go ahead and actually show you where we're talking about. This right here is your center of rotation, right there around the panhandle of Texas. It's a massive low pressure system that we've been monitoring days and days and days now. And in fact, we mentioned this literally the beginning of last week, and then First Warn Weather dated you on Friday's forecast for this kind of inclement weather, this dangerous, hazardous weather condition that this low pressure system is looking to produce for us. So far, it has just been this wet, kind of slick condition that we've been monitoring for. But as we move forward in time, we are anticipating this to transfer over into more of a snow shower threat that goes all the way through the overnight and then clear on into our Tuesday forecast here. This is the reason why that we have winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings in effect across our viewing area. Now, along I-70 in the metro, that's where we have our winter weather advisories, and they track south. Further north, up around Buchanan County, maybe off around the Clinton County area, that's where we start off with those winter storm warnings. Obviously, the winter storm warnings are already they're already going, they're already active, but when it comes down to our winter weather advisories, we don't anticipate those until about 3 o'clock this afternoon, and that's just due to where we're going to be with that rain-snow kind of combination. Everything has to do with the temperature for us, all right? When it comes down to the I-70 corridor, right? And technically, I'm going to redo this. I'm going to actually redo this line for you because it's not here. It's actually stretches upwards like this. In this particular location that I've highlighted, kind of circled in, this obviously includes the metro, this is where we have the most uncertainty for this low pressure system, this massive area of low pressure. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that that's the area that we're seeing where we could see copious amounts of snowfall, or we could see littler snowfall amounts and more of a rain-snow opportunity, wet, soggy, slushy kind of conditions. It has everything to do with where we are in the warm air sector of this low pressure system. So think of it like this. The atmosphere is above our heads, right? And it goes all the way up out into space, right? And as you go up into the atmosphere, the temperature likes to change. And there are different sections of the atmosphere with different temperature variations as you go up into the sky, right? So closer to the surface for us, specifically here to about 500 feet, is a very important temperature that we're monitoring closely. Right now it's above freezing. But if we can get these temperatures to be below freezing or at freezing, that's when we could see a significant switch in how much snowfall we could see here across the metro, which is why we've got such a big kind of change of uncertainty here that's happening. Now, further north you go, getting up to those winter storm warnings, that's where we have below freezing conditions, and that's where we're seeing a very good opportunity for 4 to 8 inches on average, local areas getting up to 12 inches. But when it comes down to the metro and around that I-70 area, as we go forward in time, and let's go ahead and do that actually. I'm going to bring you into some of our forecast model runs here. I'm going to bring you through to about the afternoon, the late afternoon, and as you can see, because of where we are with our temperature, right, still keeping above that freezing mark, we stick to that pink coloration, and that's your wintry mix. It's not necessarily constant snowfall, but just go to the north. Head off to St. Joe, head off to Atchison. These areas are going to see those temperatures around freezing, and that's enough to keep on keeping on with the snowfall chances. And that's why they're going to be seeing more accumulation as we move forward in time here. But let's go through time. And let's go into the evening. We're slowly fading out these temperatures. We're dropping them down. And then all of a sudden, the metro gets into the snowfall. Boom. Anywhere between the early and mid-evening now is where we're looking to pack in some snow chances here. And this continues through the overnight and clear into Tuesday morning. Constantly coming through on the backside of that low pressure system as we pull now colder air from up north, right? We're pulling on Canada. We're pulling on the Arctic air that comes through from the northern plains and into our neck of the woods, which feeds that colder core part of the low pressure system that allows for this snow shower activity to occur. Now, it looks impressive. It does. Some of our models keep on keeping on picking up this snowfall model. Some models say, we're going to get this, but we're not going to get it as much as you think we're going to get. So let's go into one of our forecasts for snowfall, all right? And again, we've got to take this with a grain of salt because we just talked about how the temperature is going to change in the atmosphere. Especially for us, it's going to be here to about 500 feet into the atmosphere. And really, that temperature changes constantly. But if we can get that temperature to consistently be around freezing or below freezing, we're going to be seeing a lot more snowfall. If we don't, then we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a wintry mix, and then we'll get accumulation, but not as aggressive as we would if we saw, obviously, those temperatures around freezing. So let me show you where we're at right now for just Monday alone. Moving forward in time here, 2 inches, 3 inches. This is 10 o'clock at night, 2.5 inches. And then finally we get to midnight. So really anything from about 10 p.m. at night to midnight is where we can see significant snowfall come down at one time. That produces more of 4 inches of accumulation. And then this one says, all right, we're going to keep on keeping on into Tuesday, and then finally get into the afternoon and call for maybe up to 6 inches of snow. Now conservatively, the range is actually for the metro between 3 inches and 6 inches of snowfall, all right? Local areas could get more than that. This is only one model. I still have models that are indicating we could see up to 10 inches here around the metro and 14 or 15 inches up closer to around St. Joe. And it's all because we're trying to figure out what that temperature is going to do at about 500 feet up in the atmosphere right now, okay? So there's a lot riding on this. This is something that's completely difficult to forecast for because it's constantly changing second by second when it comes down to that temperature variation. But it will be something that we're going to keep our eyes on. What we need to be ready for is that we are absolutely going to be getting some form of an accumulation. This is going to be very impactful for our Tuesday morning. If there's any kind of commute that you have to do, it is going to be hazardous out there for you. One of the reasons why is obviously because we're expecting moderate snow shower activity to potentially heavy snow at times during that morning commute. But we're also going to be dealing with high wind. And in fact, this afternoon, we're expecting to see gusts up to around 35, 40 miles per hour. But on the backside of this low, where we continue to see that snowfall come in, we're looking at gusts easily between 35 and 40 miles per hour, all right? That's a lot of wind. Now it's accompanied by that snowfall. That maybe KDOT and MoDOT were good enough to get on those roadways, and even though they're short-staffed, they were still able to clear the roads. But when we add the wind, all of a sudden that snow blows right back onto the highways, right back onto the interstates, and becomes a lower visibility scenario for us as we're all trying to drive out there. This is why we have called for a first warn weather day, not only for today, but moving for our Tuesday forecast, all right? It is not going to be wise to be out on those roads. If you do not have to drive, especially tomorrow morning, then don't drive. That is what's recommended right now. Now, at this time, we don't have a whole lot of school cancellations or postponements. I do know that there have been school cancellations in Atchison, but I think we're going to carry down the opportunity for school cancellations. We'll get more information on that as we go through the rest of the day today. I think that's going to be more of towards the evening, maybe 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, that we're going to start getting more information on school closures, all right? But I want you to just be ready for that, hands down. Also, make sure that you're ready at the home, right? Make sure you have a lot of blankets out there. The concern here is that we're going to be stuck indoors, and an opportunity for this heavier snowfall to come down and these high winds. Maybe trees or tree branches come down. Maybe those branches hit the power lines and you might lose some power out there. Obviously, with these colder conditions, it's not ideal, right? So you want to be prepared for that. Make sure you have food. Make sure you have batteries. Make sure that you can keep yourself sustained throughout the next couple of days here with this winter storm system. It is not the only one that we're monitoring. Okay, there is another storm system that we're monitoring. I'm going to touch base on that one, and then I'm going to have to let you go here because we've got more things that we have to do here at KCTV5. But I want you to know that there is a second round that'll be rolling on in our forecast. I think I've got it in my regional here. Let me just make sure that I've got this up. Let's see. All right, let me go to the Euro model. That's what I want to go into. That'll show me what we're going against. Okay, so I've got this past Monday and Tuesday. We are now into Wednesday's forecast, okay? That's what I want to show you here. We're going to go to Friday because that's when we're expecting to see this next low pressure system. And as you can tell, it comes through. It could be as early as even Thursday late night. And then we go into our Friday morning, Friday afternoon. And then it's out the door. This one, yet again, bringing in some very cold air for us. And so far, conservatively, another 1 to 3 inches, totally plausible. But I have forecast models that are trying to push 8 inches right now for this particular low pressure system. Has everything to do with the temperature variant in our atmosphere above our heads, which is constantly changing. So we're going to see that constantly change in our models. But I want you to be ready for another round of snow, and that's looking to be for our Friday. The problem with this low that we're going to see, this problem with this particular low on Friday, is it is going to usher in very cold air out of the polar cap. Okay, so you could almost think of this as a minor polar plunge, if you will, of cold air that's going to be coming off of the Arctic Circle from northern Canada. And the temperature in which that we've got going on is going to drop us down to almost single digits for the weekend. Almost. Let me show you that, okay? Because the temperature I've got for Sunday is 11 degrees as the daytime high. Saturday, 15. Your morning low temperature on Sunday is somewhere around 0 degrees. Low-lying areas will be around -5 as the air temperature, with feel-like temperatures between -5 and -15 degrees that can start as early as Friday and continue through the weekend. I've even got single-digit figures for daytime highs for next week. That's what we're hinting at, signs of. So very cold air being introduced in that next low pressure system. So we've got to go through this one first. This one's still looking to pack a punch for us. Right now it's going to be a wintry mix that we're dealing with currently, but as we move forward in time, we anticipate to switch over to nothing but snow shower activity, and that could be this evening, and it carries on over towards our Tuesday. You want to stick with us. We're going to give you more updates as we go through the day today. Obviously here, streaming online, but we're also going to be doing it live on KCTV5. So you definitely want to tune in both locations. For now, we're going to let you go, and we'll be back.